Thank you, Matt. I just wanted to follow specifically on this assessment of Hamas's military capability, because some of Israeli officials seem to have taken objection to that line in the president's speech about what they are capable of doing. John Kirby has since said that this stems from U.S. intelligence and military assessments as to what they're capable of. Are those assessments something that the Israelis share in terms of what Hamas is capable of? And then secondly, is that the same bar for the Israelis? Because it seems to be that that's at the crux of whether they're willing to agree to a permanent ceasefire or not.
So I'm not going to speak to what the Israeli military or intelligence assessment might be. As I just said, our assessment is that Hamas in no way could conduct a terrorist attack the size, the scale, the scope of what it launched on October 7th. It has been diminished as a terrorist organization, but that, again, does not mean that the threat has disappeared. It has not. Hamas continues to fight Israeli soldiers in Gaza. It continues to launch rocket attacks in Gaza, and those need to be dealt with. In terms of where this roadmap would go forward, there are a number of issues that would need to be negotiated as we transition from phase 1 to phase 2. And that's what I was getting at in my comments a moment ago, that we don't think this idea of total victory, where you pursue a military campaign in perpetuity with really no end in sight, is something that's in the security interests of Israel. It's obviously not in the interests of the Palestinian people. And so that is the point that we'll continue to make to them.
Without getting into specifically what the Israelis assess, is there a difference between the U.S. assessment and the Israelis assessment?
Again, I can't answer that question without getting to what their assessment is. I can only speak for the United States.
Okay, so speaking only for the United States, is this a recent assessment? Because presumably Hamas's capabilities would have been steadily degraded up until this point. Has something changed where they've reached a sort of benchmark in our view?
I cannot give you a date where we made that assessment, but we have seen their capabilities steadily degraded over the past 8 months of this campaign. Obviously, you saw it first in the north and then in Khan Yunis, and then significantly with the destruction of tunnels that housed Hamas's major weapons manufacturing programs. The IDF made those quite public when they did it. And so when you look at Hamas's capabilities, I think it's quite clear that while they still pose a terrorist threat, and we will back Israel's right to deal with that threat, we do not believe they could, again, launch an attack the size, the scale of October 7th.
Okay, and sorry, so the U.S. is unilaterally assessing this. There may still be a difference as to what the Israelis think Hamas is capable of.
I just can't speak. It is a U.S. assessment. I can't speak to them. Yeah.
Okay, and then